cannot fault the way he's run this race so far. He is looking superb. But Wilson Kipsang, well, at the moment, you are just getting a sense that Kipsang has not actually delivered any sort of challenge. It's a waiting man's game. It is about responding to the moves of others, covering every bid. And Kimetto, well, he has recovered superbly well, but how will he react to the next kick towards the front? 4:43 that last mile. Well, this is the morning of the year for marathon aficionados. We've seen a cracking women's race, and now we have the conclusion to the men's race to match that. The world record holder is there, although showing potential signs of weakness. Wilson Kipsang, defending champion, former world record holder, course record holder, and Eliud Kipchoge, the track star, who has made a successful transition to the road. Stanley Biwott, runner-up last year, running another race of his life. This will become as much a tactical battle as anything. Making their way now towards the embankment, Eliud Kipchoge, who will be growing with confidence with each passing stride. The winner in Chicago from last October has done nothing wrong today at all. Kipsang on the left. What a tremendous record he's got here in London. The winner in 2012, the winner again last year. He won in New York in November. He's won his last 3 marathons as Wilson Kipsang, and they've all been big ones. Berlin in September 2014, or September 2013 I should say, when he set his world record. Then London last April, then New York last November. So Kipsang's a great racer. Dennis Kimetto, very difficult to find fault with that man, who just seems to get better every time he gets on the road. Eliud Kipchoge, who has been a name who we've known at this level of the sport, albeit different disciplines, for well over a decade. It's interesting actually, Kipsang and Kimetto both older than Eliud Kipchoge, although maybe it took about almost a decade for Kipsang and Kimetto to appear at this level of the sport after Kipchoge had won his first world title. So 1 or 2 problems there with the pictures as we go through some of the underpasses along the embankment. And Biwott, certainly the left.
And meanwhile, as we've seen, they've come out of this tunnel, and it is Kipsang who has forced the pace in the darkness, and only Kipchoge has matched him stride for stride.
So Kimetto has gone. It is now Kipsang alongside Kipchoge. And there you can see the mark saying that we're inside the last 2 miles. Well, both these men have got good leg speed. You'd have to say that Kipchoge does win in that department. His track history, 7:27 for the 3,000 metres. He's run 8:07 for 2 miles. He's got a mile PB of 3:50. 3:50 miler. That's what he's capable of doing. One of the climbs, and this is where it starts to hurt just a little bit after you've been on your feet for almost 2 hours.
And it's coming off the top here. Who's still got the legs? Who won't relax when they've just driven up that little rise? And they're still both looking strong, both totally focused. Just staring at the ground, but still in their peripheral vision. They will know what they do, what the competitor alongside them is doing.
Well, Dennis Kimetto will end the day still as the world record holder, but I think these 2 men have proved that they are the 2 preeminent world marathon runners at the moment. There is Kimetto, really running for a minor spot now, looking for third or something like that. But Kipchoge, who's done nothing wrong, the winner in Chicago last year, the winner in Rotterdam at almost this time last year, Wilson Kipsang, whose record of success is almost without parallel at this level. Nobody's broken 2:05 more times than Wilson Kipsang has, and whilst he may not improve his own course record here, I think there's every chance that he's actually going to go on and run another sub 2:05 clocking. Now we can see Kimetto, he's losing third spot to Stanley Biwott, last year's runner-up, moving into third place. So it's going to prove a pretty sobering occasion for Dennis Kimetto, and these two just being pushed further and further ahead. But with each passing stride, you have to say, there appear to be no cracks at all in Eliud Kipchoge.
And he is looking slightly the strongest event would have been not even thought of.
Well, I would have thought here that Wilson Kipsang will maybe be the most frustrated of the two. He's been running well within himself throughout. This race has gone pretty much to plan, but I guess he will know that the longer and longer that Eliud Kipchoge stays there, the more and more difficult it's going to be to beat him in a sprint finish. But Kipchoge, well, choosing a different route there, moving away from the blue line to go over and get a drink. Kipsang just looking for him for a moment, but Kipchoge is kicking on here, and this is a measure of how strong Eliud Kipchoge is feeling. Now Kipsang, can he reply to it? He has to try and stay with Kipchoge. I think Wilson Kipsang knows that if he can cover this move, then Kipchoge might start getting a little frustrated. Well, it's all changed in third spot there. Dennis Kimetto has managed to get past Stanley Biwott. But it's almost certainly going to be a Kenyan 1, 2, 3, 4. So we reckon in terms of course record there may be, what, 15, 20 seconds off it, something like that. So we're looking at a time here which is going to be, I'm sure, a winning time, sub 2:05, but maybe not too much under 2:05. So Kipchoge has tried once. He's tried to get away from Kipsang. It hasn't worked.
Yeah, there was a telling moment but just under a minute ago where there was a little sly look out of his eye, went to the drink stations, opened up a few meters, but Kipsang has covered that. And again, a little glimpse, and as Kipchoge just drives on, and although with a few seconds outside last year's course record, these two running all the way to the line may pick up even closer to that 2:4:29 from 2014.
So Kipchoge, will he make the next move? I think Kipsang now will be growing in confidence. He's covered that first move from Kipchoge. Kipchoge has failed. How much more has he got left beneath the bonnet? Will Kipsang maybe wait until that run down the birdcage walk? I don't think Kipsang can afford to end up in a foot race down the mile with Kipchoge, because Kipchoge just has more leg speed than anyone in this race. It really is as simple as that. However, if Kipsang, having now maybe drawn a bit of the sting from Kipchoge by covering that pass move, Kipsang maybe is probably just trying to wait here for that final sprint down birdcage walk. I wonder now if the pressure is on Kipsang to make his move. I think if you put these two men fresh on a 100-meter track, I think there's no doubt that Kipchoge would get first to the end of the line.
Kipchoge,
and now he's kicking on his Kipchoge again.
He did. A quick glance and kicked. A second glance and he went again, and he's opened up that vital 5 meters.
Well, that's a telling move. Can Kipchoge get away? Kipsang's trying to cover it. This could be the telling moment, though. Kipchoge keeps on looking, and Kipsang just won't let him go.
But he is in his realms now. He'll be familiar. The last 2 laps of any track, the hurt. But he still looks a model of perfect running, lovely arm action, just stretching out, eating up the ground, and I think that gap is growing with Kipsang behind, and he has resigned for second place.
Yes, I think that gap now has maybe increased to about 10 metres. And Eliud Kipchoge turning back the clock. The 2003 world champion at 5,000 metres. He did that when he was just 18. He's now on his way to his first London Marathon title. Eliud Kipchoge, 2:04.05 his lifetime best. He's not going to improve that.
But he's picked the pace up. He's after every second he can get in this 2015 London Marathon. Flowing round that bend.
So the course record, 2:04.29.
Just outside of that, 200 metres to run. Just going to be a few seconds outside, but it's been a marvellous performance.
I think both these two men heading for clockings inside 2:05. But Eliud Kipchoge will pump the knees. Wilson Kipsang. It's been a brilliant performance from the former world record holder, the course record holder. But Eliud Kipchoge salutes the crowd, first to the right, then to the left. It is a victory, and in the end, you'd have to say he's actually won quite comfortably. 2:04.41 or thereabouts. Yet another sub-2:05 clocking for Wilson Kipsang. Nobody has broken 2:05 more times than that man Wilson Kipsang. But it is a victory for Eliud Kipchoge. A brilliant run. Two outstanding Kenyan athletes. Well, in the end, the women's race belonged to Ethiopia. Kenya have done a job on their East African rivals in the men's race. Well, it isn't victory for Wilson Kipsang, but you have to say he still looks quite happy with himself. I guess beating Dennis Kimetto meant quite a bit. And I reckon going into today's race, if you'd have said, look, Wilson, you're going to beat Dennis Kimetto, may not assume it was victory, but he'd have taken it, wouldn't he? Here is Kimetto, third spot.
And it's been one of the great races of all time. You couldn't have assembled a better field there today. And times apart, it's been a great race to the finish line. You know, these are the remnants of what was a hard, obviously a little bit stress and strain in one of his legs, but that's what's, you know, the training. This is where the flaws come out. The marathon distance does not take prisoners when it comes to its attrition, particularly in those final 5-10 kilometers.
So the world record holder Dennis Kimetto comes through in third spot. It's a great image. The London Marathon champion for 2015. Buckingham Palace in the background.